on this from Brendan Kearney. He's a retired U.S. Marine colonel and the former chief of staff for the Marine Corps in Europe. He joins me now from Santa Rosa in California, so it's a pleasure. Thank you for your time. Firstly, a Russian state media reports in the last hour that the Kremlin says there's been a lack of dynamic in peace talks with Ukraine and warns if things stay the way they are right now, there would be, quote, no productive outcome. But based on what Moscow keeps demanding from Kiev, how does the Kremlin expect such a sadistic approach would end the conflict?
I don't think they have real expectations that what they're saying carries any truth to it. I think they fully expect that they're going to continue to attack in such a brutal manner, and that Kiev and Ukraine is going to continue on with an absolutely vigorous defense that is rapidly turning into offensive action on the ground in many of the places that are contested.
You know, the UN says it's helped nearly 500 civilians flee the plant, the Azovstal steel plant in Mariupol in the last week. But reports continued Russian shelling is preventing more people getting out. Russia denies this and accuses Ukraine of hampering evacuations. Colonel, let's play devil's advocate here. From a war perspective, would you more likely believe Russia on this? Because we keep hearing that once Moscow finally controls the plant, it controls the entire city. Would Ukraine want to prevent the last civilians from leaving?
No, I think the Ukrainians would love to get their civilians out of there. They've suffered some tremendous casualties throughout this past 9 weeks of war. And to get them out of there actually makes it easier for the military, the Ukrainian military forces in that steel plant, to go ahead and defend. When you have to worry about civilians that are your families, your friends, being stuck literally in the midst of a combat zone, it detracts from your attention, and their full attention should be on defending that steel plant. And quite frankly, I think we both would realize that much of what Russia says has to be taken with a great deal of skepticism. They simply have not been telling the truth, and I don't anticipate that's going to change anytime soon.
I appreciate that perspective, Colonel. Just before I let you go, you said during an interview a month ago that it was time Ukraine went on the offensive. To what extent do you think that should happen, and does that include on Russian territory?
Absolutely. I think there's no rule that says that they must be the recipient of these blows that are being made against their country and their military. And I think there's been some speculation in the open press that some of the things that have gone wrong in Russia over the last 2 months may be directly attributed to Ukrainian action. But I think we see the offensive action taking place on a local basis. You know, the Ukrainians are being resupplied very, very well. And I think we are again seeing the emphasis of morale, offensive spirit is really taking over and continuing on with the great success that they've enjoyed so far. So we're going to see more of it from the Ukrainians to the detriment of the Russians.
You said absolutely in the beginning of your answer, but Russia has said repeatedly that if it felt cornered, it may consider using nuclear weapons. Do you think if Ukraine were to advance its attacks on Russian territory, that would bring us closer to a Russia-West nuclear confrontation?
You know, I think there's a possibility, a remote possibility, that might occur if Ukrainian forces, large formations, were to enter into Russia itself. And I just don't foresee that happening. It really doesn't improve the Ukrainian military situation that much. Now, I do see special operations forces conducting operations on Russian territory, but I think the Russians recognize that that's a risk they took when they opened up these hostilities. So I don't see this conflagration, so to speak, really coming to fruition if it's only special operations forces. I think it would really have to be a massive Ukrainian invasion into Russia, and I just don't see that happening.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. Colonel Brendan Kearney, once again, appreciate the perspective. Thank you.